Hi all, this video lecture we are going to discuss the process involved in requirements engineering. So before getting it into the process, let me first tell you what is requirements engineering. So when I say requirements, this is nothing but what are all the needs of the customer, okay, or what are all the features we are going to develop in the system. So requirements are nothing but the features we are going to develop in the system or the needs of the customer. So what are all the requirements of the customer from the particular system? Okay. So why do we say requirements engineering is we are going to follow a systematic approach for identifying what are all the requirements of the customer, and we are going to finalize what are all the features we are going to develop in the system. From the customer requirements, we are going to finalize what are all the system requirements or what are all the requirements we are going to develop in the system. So you are going to follow a systematic approach. That is why we say it as requirements engineering. So in requirements engineering, so there are some procedures, some process involved. Let us discuss what are all the process involved in the requirements engineering. Okay. So there are about 7 steps. First step is inception. Inception is nothing but the basic understanding of the problem. So we are going to start with inception. So before developing the system, we should have the basic understanding of the problem. And also the people who want a solution. That is, you should know about your client. What is the problem? Who is the client? The nature of the solution that is expected by the client, and the effectiveness of preliminary communication and collaboration between the client and the developer. Okay, so these are all some of the major aspects to be considered in the initial stage. That is the first stage, inception. You have to understand the problem well. You have to understand the customer, and there should be an effective communication between the customer and the developer. And you should also find out what type of solution is desired by the customer. So with this input only, you go for identifying the requirements for the system. Okay, so this is the first step. The next step followed by elicitation. Elicitation is nothing but discovering the functional and non-functional requirements from all the stakeholders. So when it comes to stakeholders, there are direct stakeholders, indirect stakeholders, and also interactors. So you have to discover the requirements from all the stakeholders. Okay. And after identifying the requirements from the different perspectives, we go for elaboration. So now we create an analysis model. Okay. So here we will find out what is the data, what is the function we are going to develop, and how it is going to behave. So we will be modeling all these three: data model, functional model, and behavioral model. Okay. So all this will be done in the elaboration. For data model, you know the example is an ER diagram. It will represent what are all the metadatas. And for functional model, you have the class diagram. And for a behavioral model, you have the sequence diagram. So in which order the state will change. Okay, state diagram or sequence diagram, or in which order the activities will be carried out. That will state the behavioral requirements. So then the fourth step is negotiation. So the customer may be asking you for 100 requirements. Okay. So you have to analyze what are all the requirements feasible and which is not feasible. Okay. And then you have to go a negotiation with the customer, and finally you have to come out with a win-win solution for both customer and the developer. Okay. And after negotiation, you come out with the list of requirements what you're going to develop in the system. So after, as I told you, after negotiation, we are going to come out with the final list of requirements what we are going to develop in the system. So you all know in each and every stage, there will be a documentation. So the next stage is specification, software requirement specification, SRS. This is nothing but a written document. So whatever you have discussed and whatever you have finalized, that will be documented as per the template. So that is the next stage. And after documentation, because this document will be referred by the developer for future. Okay. Also by the testing team. And after documentation, we go for a validation. This is nothing but a review mechanism. So you have found out something. Now you have to review whether you have found the correct requirements or not. So with whatever requirements you have identified, whether will you be able to develop the system which the customer expects. So that is the validation stage. And finally, requirements management. This is if there is any change, then you should be able to adapt to the changes. So looking at that is requirements management. So these are the 7 steps involved in requirements engineering. Thank you all.